we'll wrap up here with a couple of points on the website comparison that I talked about. Now, from an assignment standpoint, what I'd like you to do is to choose two websites that are alike only in the fact that they're websites. One of them should be one that you would describe as terrific. Another one is one you might say is terrible. Now, your analysis on this can be based on anything. It could be the design of it, the content of it, the interactivity of it, the way that it loads. Really anything that would add up to giving you a feeling about the website and allowing you to make a decision is what can be included in your essay. Now, I don't have this as a requirement, but I'll give you a tip. It's easier, I find this assignment easier for students if the websites are on similar themes. So for example, if you're comparing and contrasting the websites of two professional sports teams, rather than one professional sports team and one tire store in Chicago, you might just find it easier to compare and contrast if they're of the same theme. And I'm going to give you a little example here for myself as to two restaurant websites. One that I think is excellent, or at least meets my needs, and another one that falls really short. So one is a website, and these are both in Milford, restaurants in Milford, Connecticut. I suggest you try both of them. I should say they're both excellent restaurants. But for websites, here's one that I find effective, and it meets my needs as a website. When I think about restaurant websites, I'm really looking for a few different things. As I said earlier, I'm just looking for some effort and energy, and I want an indication that the restaurant, the ownership group, cares about customer service, and that starts with a neatly designed website, and one that I think has at least asked themselves, gee, what would our customers want if they visited our website, and how do we deliver that? And I think the website for Rainbow Gardens does that. So here are the things that I'm looking for when I go to a restaurant website. I want an easily accessible menu. And right here we can see they not only have an easily accessible menu, but it's actually broken down into the different categories, if you will. Appetizers, dinner here is the main event. This is one suggested change I would have for them. They should change the title main event to entrees or dinner or something a little more specific. They don't need to get so cute. Drink specials and wine list. And again, very easy to go through. This isn't a PDF, as we're going to see in a moment. Nice descriptions for each dish, along with a price. Really informative. So if you've never been to Rainbow Gardens, you can go to the site, see everything they have on the menu, know how much it's going to cost you, and really be prepared for your night out eating at Rainbow Gardens. The other thing I like to see are photos of the place, just so that I know how fancy or informal it is. Sometimes I think it is helpful when they show photos of customers so that I don't show up in shorts and a t-shirt if it's more of a golf shirt and khakis, slacks kind of a place. But I actually feel like I can get that information from these photos. You can look in here and it just seems like a pretty casual, laid-back atmosphere at Rainbow Gardens. So those are really the main things that I'm looking for when I go to a restaurant website. Photos of food isn't something I'm really that interested in because I know most of food photos are doctored up anyway, and it's unlikely that my actual entree will look that way. So I don't need that. Now, if I'm going to sort of contrast that or compare it with a site that I think is really ineffective, is one Sloppy Jose's, a Mexican restaurant. Again, I think both these places, the food is fabulous, which is why I went to these two today when trying to look for recent examples. I thought, what are two restaurants I really like in Milford? And these are two I came across. So as you can see, the first thing that this does is it just visually it doesn't match for me. When I go to Sloppy Jose's website, I would love for it to be more in the theme of the food that it has. It's a Mexican restaurant, as we can see from the billing, so the color should maybe incorporate the Mexican flag or do something to make it feel a little bit more authentic. I mean, this is just so templatized, this background. It doesn't say anything about the actual restaurant. Before when I talked about the photographs that I'd like you to use in the blog intro, I said use one that provides me visually more information about you, so that you don't have to say things, you can show them to me. And I think we all know the same goes for websites. You can say things about your brand, about your restaurant, without having to say them through visual cues. And Sloppy Jose's completely misses the mark on that one. Then it again does something else that I truly dislike with restaurants, and it offers the menu just as a PDF that you then have to open and download. And if you think about the way people are accessing restaurant websites today, it's a lot on mobile devices. I'm not opening up a huge PDF on my mobile device. It's just totally unusable, and I So again, I really dislike it when restaurants do this. So for me, that's a huge no-no. I can't find photos anywhere on this site. The main thing that jumps out to me on the site are people who have liked them on Facebook. And to me, that's just not important for a website. If they want to put the number of people that like their Facebook page somewhere on their homepage because they think that that's an endorsement that will mean something to other consumers, that's fine. I don't need to see thumbnails. This is real estate that could really be used for something else and not the thumbnails. As I said, there are no photos, and even pages like the directions. I mean, this is all just very basic web stuff. I would like something a little bit more advanced, if you will, a little bit more evolved, and again, just to show me that you put some time and thought into this. So those are some of the points that I would put in my analysis of these two websites, comparing and contrasting them, two sites that I think are at opposite ends of the quality spectrum. And then as we wrap up, the last assignment for the week is to create a screencast. And I actually want you to go back now to the introductory blog post and look at the website that you identified as the first one you visit each week, and do a 90-second screencast. Again, keep this less than 90 seconds on what is it about that site that appeals to you. And again, it could be content, it could be design, it could be a lot of different things. So I'll go in and I'll give the example of the site that I mentioned. That's the Chronicle of Higher Education. So for me, the reason why I visit this website first every morning is all about content. Now, I think its design is fine. It's just a really simple and elegant design. So there's nothing overly heavy about the homepage. But really, for me, it's about content. So I am in the I work at Yale University, as I say in my intro blog post. One of the things that I do and spend a lot of time on these days is help us set a strategy for online education. Now, for any of you that are familiar at all with online education, you know that this is a space that's moving, incredibly fast over the last year. There are news updates basically every day about a university either joining a consortium or launching a new online degree. There's news coming out all the time about different initiatives around online education. So I feel as though the first thing I need to do in the morning is to find out any news that has happened overnight in online ed. And the Chronicle of Higher Education, as its name might suggest, is the best place to do it. So the homepage has some really good, even longer form stories, but the reason why it's my first stop every day really are the blogs, especially the Wired Campus blog. So when you go in here, again, like any blog, it gives you quick information on big news items that have happened. Just coincidentally here, Yale is the top news item of the day. It's an announcement that we made on Wednesday. So the Wired Campus blog is talking about that. But it's really helpful for me as a way to keep track and keep track of what's going on, as I say, with online education around the world. Again, really well designed though. I like the way they incorporate the Twitter feed here, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of discussion around these topics. So I like to see, not only hear commentary from others who are in the field, but also this is a great way for me to find new people to follow who are in the online education field. If I see people that are making a lot of comments, now I have some new people to follow on Twitter. So there's a lot to like about this site, but for me, the main reason is content. And that, in all, is Module 1. Now, most of the assignments are due next Monday by 6 a.m., but the introductory blog post and I think one of the other assignments are due before. So please make sure to look at the due dates for each of the assignments this week. Now, I've given you my contact information, and that is a reminder to myself. One thing I forgot to mention about the introductory blog posts, some other information that you could include are your social handles, so your Twitter handle or the URL for your Facebook page, if you want your classmates to connect with you through social media. Certainly that's a good place to put it. So you all have my email address and my Twitter handle. The best way to get me though is email. I know I give my Twitter handle and Skype address, but email is the best way. It's the one that I check most often and I can get back to you quickly. If you have any questions about the assignments this week or anything that's on your mind, please don't hesitate to email me, and I will make every best effort to always get back to you within 24 hours. If I have not gotten back to you within 24 hours, please send me another email just to make sure I received the first one. There were 2 or 3 cases last semester where actually emails didn't make its way to me and I didn't respond to the student just because I never got their initial inquiry, and they didn't bring it up until 5 or 6 days later, and at that point it was a little too late. If you haven't done so, make sure you read the syllabus. I sure am jamming a lot here in the conclusion, But I think that's it. I hope you enjoy this first week of class. And again, don't hesitate to contact me with any questions. I'm here to help and want to be a help as we go through this semester. Thanks for watching. Take care.